Okay, so here we have the 1871 census for Agnes Barnes, and this is in Ilfracombe in Devon. So I'm continuing this series, and let's see what we've got in 1871 census records. So if I scroll in with my mouse wheel, now I'm struggling to see it a bit. I'm going to use the usual transcription. Press that. Okay, so if I look over here on the bar, okay, so she's only a few from the top. Oh, and there she is, Agnes. Right. Interestingly, okay, so we've got at the top, you've got 5. Is that Copner's Cottage? It's a bit hard to read. Now we don't have the house names here. Then we've got Cornwall House, Broad Street. Okay, so it doesn't give us the address in the bottom, but we can see that here. So Cornwall House, Broad Street. And she's living with her husband, John Barnes, which is the first time he's appeared from working backwards, because he sadly died quite young. So what are we seeing? We're seeing the usual. Okay, M for married. Now, what have we got here? Okay, interestingly, at least on this one, we've got UNM unmarried. You see it different all the time, but UNM unmarried. And Agnes was his wife, sorry. Okay, she's from Padstow, Cornwall. We're not really getting much here. Jeweller's apprentice. Now I know in the next one, William went on to become a jeweller and watchmaker. So that's interesting to see the trade building up. So at 16, he was an apprentice. And Nicholas was the grocer's assistant, the family business. Okay. You can see then we've got the sons, daughters, 13, 11 and 8. And all from the same place. Again, they've got DO for ditto here, and they go down. And now, interestingly, okay, so Nicholas Fry is the brother-in-law. This is where it helps to know the maiden name. So he is actually Agnes's brother-in-law because she was born a Fry. So her brother-in-law was living with her. That is curious. And he's a widowed mariner. And he's from Paracombe in Devon. Now, this gives us a little bit more information about the family immediately, because if I look at Nicholas Fry, he's 62. Agnes was 51. So there's 11 years difference. That's her brother. And he was born in Paracombe in Devon. Now let me show you on the map. Now you can see from the map I've just prepared that Paracombe in Devon is 13.5 miles away. Okay, so maybe it's not as far as I thought. It takes half an hour by car, maybe a couple of hours in those days. It still seems like a fairly considerable move. But then if we add in Padstow in Cornwall, Padstow Harbour for instance, that is a very long way away. So that's really curious for me, how they went from Paracombe, maybe I'll move that, down to Padstow, which is quite a long way, and then back up to Ilfracombe. So there's a bit of a family mystery for me, but even so, I was aware of the Paracombe connection, but I hadn't really looked at it on the map, and that really helps to make it a bit more, to stand out that bit more. So either way, coming back into this, I've learned something new for this, and I've got to add Nicholas Fry. Okay, so now if you don't already have them in your ancestry tree, the thing you'll get caught out with if you do it this way is actually it will add them just floating loose, and you don't want to do that. It just makes it a bit more complicated. What I will do instead to make it easier is go back to Agnes. Let's go back to her profile. So if I press the back button, let's just take a note. Nicholas Fry, 62, Paracombe. Okay. Let's leave and we'll add family. Let's add a brother. if I tried to add him and added him straight from that record, it forces you to add the next person as a brother, sister, father, mother. And that's not helpful because I don't know them at the moment. So if you come in and add a sibling, then you can attach them to your tree in that way and not lose that record. So Nicholas Fry, deceased. So 62 from 1871. And I did have to pause that. He has about 1809. Okay. Okay, and we got Paracombe, Devon. Fine. And his parents. And if we do it this way, you see the parents are found. Like I tried it before, it just got off and then it got very confusing. So add as a sibling, attach on before you do. And save. So I've added his sibling. And let's go back to that census record. As you can see, we're kind of looping around to make sure this works, right? And then if I click on the person icon here, Nicholas Fry, brother-in-law, and let's save the person in your tree. Let's find him. Oh, now I've got him twice because I added him earlier. I think it was the capital. And let's save. Okay. And then you've just at least got a starting point for a record for him as well. But let me go back. And so the next step is to check out my next video in this series, and I'll see you there.